found that
He's got my extra copy.
the filter, the new filter on our machine, the vents hadn't been opened up.
Thank you, I'll get you another one.
So I think that's the problem. It was kicking out on her, and she didn't bother to wake me up to tell me it turned off. And I think that's what was causing it.
Is it gonna be a
So
next
hopefully
6
that
weeks?
problem's solved.
Early February, about the 6th or 8th of February.
Okay.
I sent Babe
Oh, it tells me.
to see if she can
Tells me right
rent
on
an
the
oxygen
freaking sheet.
bottle while we're in Paderborn.
You see, the Martinez did pull papers yesterday.
Yeah, you go in there all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know if they
We'll
know
be
me
in-
as well as you or
For
Henry.
a couple days and then over.
Henry's really well known, and you're well
She'll
known
be
too.
okay for a couple days.
We'll make them do as they're told.
Nice conversation.
16th of February, I gotta,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna get him in
She's
before the
right.
16th of
Yeah.
February.
she's an absolute riot.
All right, we're over
All
the
right, I
we're
don't
over the
have
mark.
a package.
We're all here, but are we all here?
Hold on a sec.
Not in the least.
Got it? Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the
It's gonna be
January 13th, 2016 meeting of the Chelmsford Planning Board. We are, of course, being recorded by Chelmsford Telemedia, and we also have audio recording going for the purposes of note-taking. First order of business is the minutes of December 12th. Has everybody had a chance to look them over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look them over early. Okay. I don't know what I did with them.
I think they're online.
Yeah. I didn't see any surprises.
No, I'm all set.
Everything looked
It's
okay.
me.
Okay.
If everybody's happy, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 12th, 2015.
I'll second it. Okay. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zip.
I'm just here for my looks.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay, next item up here is 7 Progress Ave, Planning Board 2015-14, request to endorse Mylars. And Evan, are we all set with that?
You should have one memo.
Yeah, we got there's one one. memo here Want to from give that a read?
Christina Papadopoulos, Town Engineer. Dear members, this office has reviewed the site plans by High Point Engineering, Inc., consisting of 13 sheets dated September 29, 2015, revised through January 6, 2016. Snow Storage Plan Exhibit B, 11/16/2015, revised through January 4th, 2016, and a supplemental hydrologic analysis and drainage report dated September 29th, 2015, revised through January 4th, 2016. This office has reviewed the revised plans for the above referenced location. After our review, this office concerns have been met sufficiently and the plans have been revised accordingly. We recommend endorsement of the Mylars. Christina Papadopoulos.
Good.
And that's it.
You have any other comments?
No, if you just recall, this the endorsement was slightly delayed due to the coordination with the Conservation Commission review and approval and the Planning Board engineering review. So it took longer than it normally would take.
Gotcha.
They all set with the Conservation Commission?
Yep.
Good to go.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize endorsement of the Mylars for Planning Board 2015-14, 7 Progress Avenue.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay. Do you have them downstairs?
I do not.
Okay. I can get in.
We'll let you know.
I can get in Monday to sign them. Otherwise, you can maybe get
All
Ed.
right, okay.
Okay.
And if you're not going to make it, take a vote and authorize me if you want to do that.
Oh.
Glenn's in town, too.
Yeah, I can probably get over.
Yeah, okay, he's an officer,
He's-
so
he's an
he
officer.
can sign them.
Okay. That'd be fine.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have to do much now in winter.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Ian.
Winter.
Not when it doesn't snow.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a new public hearing, 106 Middlesex Street. You probably have a pile of letters to read.
I got a couple of them here.
Can you first open the hearing? Should be a legal ad. Maybe
Yep,
maybe
that's
in the
what you're gonna
file.
need first.
That one.
Should be it right there.
Yeah, right up here on the top. Got it. Okay, the Chelmsford Planning Board will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, January 13th, 2016, at 6:30 PM at the Chelmsford Town Offices to consider the application of James Dolan for property at 106 Middlesex Street. The applicant proposes a 740-square-foot addition to the existing funeral home and the construction of a new 1,728-square-foot accessory garage. The property is zoned limited industrial and is known as Assessors Map 14, Block 19, Lot 8. The project requires a minor site plan review per section 195-104G, a special permit per section 195-11 for the accessory garage, and a special permit per section 195-8C for an addition to a pre-existing non-conforming structure, and any other permit relief that may be required under the Chelmsford zoning bylaw to allow the proposed use project. Copy of the proposal is available at the Community Development Department, room LL01 of the town offices, and may be viewed Monday through Friday between 9 and 4. All interested parties are invited to comment in writing or may present any relevant information for consideration at the public hearing on January 13th. Okay, and we got from Christina Papadopoulos. Dear members, this office has reviewed the plans of Norse Design Services, Inc., consisting of 12 sheets dated October 29, 2015. A review cannot be completed by this office due to lack of information. The following information should be added to the plans. Please provide complete contours of the property lines and beyond if appropriate, and show any proposed grading. It appears as though the parking will need to be changed due to the proposed garage. Please show existing and proposed parking. The plan shows an addition to the building, but does not show the proposed canopy and stairs. Please show the canopy and stairs, edge of pavement, and parking. Please show the proposed vehicle access and egress to the property around the canopy and under the canopy. Please show the underground utilities, how they may be affected by the proposed work, including sewer, water, and drains. Please provide detailed on the existing drainage system. Please describe the structures, provide elevations, and show where the outlet is. Please show existing roof drains, if any, and where the proposed roof drains will go. Please show some erosion and sediment control as appropriate, and provide stamped plans. That's from Christina. We got one from Mark, the building inspector, no concerns. Let's see, police department, the Division of Special Services has reviewed the attached site plans and application for special permit of the town Chelmsford Planning Board, 106 Middlesex Street, Chelmsford, Mass. Upon careful review of the plans, I do not see any traffic issues would occur as a result of these plans. If you have any questions, please let me know. Lieutenant Colin Spence. Let's see, fire prevention. Dear members of the board, I have reviewed the proposal for the addition and outbuildings at 106 Middlesex Street, and I find the following. An adequate system of automatic sprinklers shall be installed in all the existing and new portions of the funeral home building. There shall be a fire hydrant located within 60 feet of the fire department connection. The sprinkler system shall conform to NFPA 13780 CMR, Mass building code and the town of Chelmsford requirements. The location of all fire protection and detection equipment shall be at the discretion of the fire prevention officer. Water pressure and flow testing shall be required to be performed within a close proximity to 106 Middlesex Street, with all calculations to be submitted and to be approved by this office. The fire alarms shall be conformed to NFPA 72, and current testing reports shall be provided to this office prior to construction. The engineer of record shall submit an engineered vehicle access plan that shows fire apparatus access using the AASHTOWB 40 turning template. 3 copies of all building, sprinkler, and fire alarm plans, along with supporting documentation, shall be submitted to the Fire Prevention Office as part of the review process. This office would approve these plans with these conditions, and I ask that the board make this letter a part of their approval process. That's from Daniel Kotofstis from the fire department. Oops. And that's it.
Okay. So, there's somebody here to speak for the proponent? Ah, yeah.
Hi, my name is Will Arvidsson. I work for Architectural Consulting Services out of Lowell, Mass. I have some revised site plans here with a stamp to submit.
Okay. Is that one set or multiples?
There's 10 copies of this.
Perfect, thank you.
Size and 2 stamped.
We want to put the stamp ones in the file.
Yep, right in the file they go.
Make sure one of these gets on file too.
So I'd like to just give a quick intro to the project.
Get one of these in the file.
The addition is approximately about 700 square feet on the main floor. It's 10 feet deep by 73 feet long. The addition will consist of a new hallway, a new entrance, 1 new bathroom, a janitor's closet, a coat room, 1 storage room, as well as a covered portico. There will be no increased occupant count. They will also be repurposing a hallway to accommodate an elevator shaft to go through the existing ground floor. And the new addition will also provide a direct exit from parlor number 4 to the outside. There'll be a covered drop-off area that will be 21 feet by 28 feet long. It will consist of an open roof structure with decorative columns supporting it. The elevator is being added to basically make access between the floors a lot easier. The enclosed elevator shaft will be on the north side of the building. It will be about 10 feet by 15. The exterior will be treated the same as the rest of the building to blend in with the existing structure. The second part of the project is a garage. The garage is a new building on the northwest corner of the site. It's a prefabricated metal building to match the others. The footprint is 32 by 54. 1,728 square feet. It will be 17 feet tall at the tallest point, and the new building will sit between 2 existing garages that are on the site. Are there any, should I go over the items on the civil? We had the site plan, all the corrections from the town engineer's comments incorporated, I believe, into this last edit of the site. Would you like me to go through the items on the?
Why don't you go through that briefly, and then we'll go around.
Yeah, why don't you point out what we're adding there? I
Yes.
mean, because I think I see it here, but what are we adding?
I know, I can see that. It's in here.
Adding this right here,
Yeah.
the
I'm not worried about the elevator, I'm just generally worried about the bill. Could have used,
This is the basement plan, so it's just gonna have everything below the red line is the new footprint that will be in the basement level, an unconditioned space there. And then on the first floor, everything here will be new. There's a men's room here. This was formerly the men's room, so we're gonna make this a hallway with a janitor's closet. There's a coat room, a new entrance that's basically in the same spot as the existing glass airlock, if you remember. A hallway to connect the stair, a storage room, and then the new door here, and this is the elevator. So basically, all of the pieces that are being added are just to increase the comfort level of anybody, at the facility. We're not increasing any assembly area for this project.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the covered
Portico.
portico right here. So,
Okay.
on the upper floors, this is the elevator shaft with a small vestibule there. So that's a rendering of what it will look like from the street. As well as a straight-on view here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a rendering of the garage. This is before and then after, so it will sit in the same plane as the rest of the structures there.
Okay.
So
Is
I'm
it-
happy to go back to any board of you.
Well,
Is
let
that a
me,
4-story elevator?
It will go from the basement, it's a 4-stop, it will go from the basement up to the 3rd floor. So this is the approximate floor plane of the 3rd floor. Due to the perspective, it's sort of hiding the 2nd floor a little bit. It will potentially project a little bit from the roof of the building, but not too much.
okay. Very good. Well, why don't we go around and ask any questions? We've got, you want to take a shot, Monica?
Yeah, I'll go first. I do have questions about the parking, and I see that at least the entrance and the egress of the site has been clarified, so thank you for going ahead and doing that. I see that still some parking is going to have to be eliminated. How many spaces do you?
So basically, they'll be eliminating 10 spaces from the existing parking lot. We did a minimum parking requirement count off of the zoning for Chelmsford, and it does seem that we meet the minimum required of 77 spaces, and currently there are about 104 on site.
Okay.
So with removing the 10, and 10 I think is a conservative number, we will be able to still far exceed the minimum required on site.
Okay.
That's fine. You can take it from here.
Okay. The elevator, we're not the high point of the elevator, is it under 35 feet? Or it does, another way to put the question, it doesn't project any higher than the existing house, does it?
No, it shouldn't.
Okay.
The only thing I got, snow storage, what do you plan for that?
He has an area out back.
Yeah, there's a large paved area that I believe is the storage area that is not striped for parking.
Right.
Okay,
See
down
back
next to that last garage?
Yes,
Is it where the
way back.
propane tank is?
Okay. I didn't think I saw a dumpster area. You got a dumpster area on here?
He doesn't have dumpsters.
There's no dumpsters?
No dumpsters.
You need to come
Okay.
to the microphone.
here. Yeah.
This is Joe Wojcik, contractor.
I'm Joe Wojcik, I'm the contractor. There is no dumpsters on the site. Behind the last garage, if you see, there's a huge area for snow. And that last building that he has, that's where he has a backhoe in there,
Okay,
where he can pile the snow wherever he needs to.
okay.
Mainly the elevator is in the basement. There's a kitchen, and they have where they hold all the caskets. So the building isn't really handicap accessible from the to the basement. People have to go around to the back to access where they're going to pick out a casket. So he's trying to make it more comfortable and let the people come down an elevator. Everything he's doing here is for the comfort of the people, that are coming in. Putting another bathroom in. So there's really nothing here that he's going to gain by this.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. Nancy, you want to take a shot?
Yeah, had a couple questions. This is Evans Zone Industrial.
Correct.
What about, from on the sheet that we're looking at, it looks like there's houses to the left of it. Is that a residential area?
It is.
So this new garage then is going in like 9 feet from the property line adjacent to a residential area.
I believe it's a little further away than the existing garages that are there, right in between the two. But yes, it is abutting a residential zone.
The garage will require a variance from the zoning board of appeals. The addition to the funeral home does not require a variance. It requires a special permit from this board because the structure is pre-existing non-conforming. Within the dimensional table, there's a footnote that says that any structure that's within 100 feet of a residential use or residential zone, you increase the setback to 100 feet. So that's why this principal structure is pre-existing non-conforming.
Are the adjacent residential structures zoned residential or zoned industrial and non-conforming?
I didn't check on that. Per the dimensional table in the footnote that I just mentioned, it doesn't matter. It's residential use or zone.
I believe they're residentially zoned.
Okay,
So that's the edge of the industrial
okay,
zone.
right.
Okay.
The new garage that is displacing 10 parking spaces, does it supply additional parking spaces?
No, the new garage down the back is not affecting any parking at all. It's the portico that will, the traffic around the portico will remove the 10 spaces, but we were not planning on adding any additional paving to the property so that all the areas of impervious pavement should stay the same, due to the fact that we have, several extra spaces on site currently.
Will the parking spaces in front of this new garage continue to be available for customer use?
Yes, they will.
Okay. I'm good.
George?
Yep. So, on, I found my notes, I have them. It doesn't quite lend to, I'm a little confused on why you're doing what you're doing on the entrance and the portico. You got an entrance that opens into pile 4. So if people come for viewing, they're gonna go in which entrance? Through pile 4?
So the main entrance with the covered parking, the covered spot is going to be the main entrance. I believe the new entrance out of Parlor 4 would only be used during select certain funeral rites that were done by certain ethnicities that they need to exit directly out with the deceased person. And that, I don't believe that happens too often. I believe the majority of the time it will be like velveted roped off and for emergencies only.
Okay, so basically, if there's expected a large viewing, they might use that to cue people in through the other parlors, and is that what you're saying?
Do you know?
Can I speak to that?
This is Jay Mason, the architect.
Hi, my name is Jay Mason, and the owner asked us to provide an alternate way of exiting the building when they have certain types of services, and there's different ways that these folks get together at a service and leave a service. He wanted to have another option to provide to respect that type of service application. So that's the reason for this. Basically it's an alternate entrance and exit way.
Okay. It's not quite clear to me with these plans. That portico, is there a sidewalk there? So as people coming in to that main entrance, is there a walkway, or are they walking in the driveway itself?
I believe it's all going to be paved underneath, similar to what's there now. I don't think they're raising any sort of grade changes there. All they'll be doing are putting the column bases and building the new structure. I don't believe there's any plan for a raised sidewalk underneath there.
because my
Probably
concern would be
parking
is
striping.
if someone pulled into the portico to drop someone off, you know, it's, I don't want to say dangerous if they come around and, you know, if there's a way to get a walkway in there, just so if someone's coming in off of Middlesex Street and pulling into the portico to drop someone off and then head towards the back to park, if someone's coming from the back into that door, now they're facing the car head on. So,
Portico is oversized for the one car, and that's all that they intend to use, so they might plan on striping it or making
Good.
sure that there's a portion that's reserved not for vehicle traffic, so.
well, yeah, I'm just concerned that, you know, if someone comes out the door or comes from the parking lot up and someone pulls into the portico, then, you know, you're coming around a column and someone's trying to pay attention to where they're gonna drop off and not necessarily paying attention to people walking into that portico to use that entrance.
I don't believe that they plan on using the lane through the portico for regular traffic. There is enough room on the other side, on the outside of the portico, for all regular traffic throughout the site.
Okay, I'd like you to look at it, because I
Sure.
think there's some issues, you know, the engineering still has to look at it, so I know that we're not closing this tonight. I'd like you to look at it to see if there's a way to make that a little safer. Secondly, I noticed on the parking, your handicap spots are on the opposite side of the building versus to where the entrance is for the elevator. Is there another entrance on the opposite side that someone can come in
Yep, there's an identical entrance on the other side with a glass entryway.
that's handicap accessible?
Yep, as well as on the front of the building is another entrance as well.
Okay, so that's the, okay. That must be in the front. I don't see the one on the side. I see stairs, but I
Oh,
don't
it's
see
on the
it.
existing plan, I'll show you.
Oh, I see it. I got it. I got it. See it.
Right here.
Okay. And then my other concern was when the plans that we were sent, you've somewhat addressed it in the new plan, is the distance from the back of the garage to the house that's directly behind it, which I believe has a pool behind it as well. I know there's existing garages along that line, but it's not really a direct view from the back, from that house. So the question is, how far is that house, and is there any room to get some arborvitae back there, or something to soften the view to that residential?
My name is Jeff Hannaford. I'm with Norse Design Services. You're talking about the house that would be directly opposite the new...
Brendan McGovern.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if the picture down here, the before and after, can I see that one right there? Yeah, can I see it? So, on your picture here, are these trees staying, or are they on your property, or are they on the butter's property?
They're on the owner's property.
That house, the existing house is approximately 85 feet from the property line.
Yeah.
So it'd be about 95 feet from the back of the proposed garage to the
So are you
adjacent
Are
dwelling.
you losing all those trees back there?
None of them.
You're not losing any? Okay, I'm good. You can have that picture. Unless the board might want to see it.
Yeah.
Might want to
No,
show it.
I can see what you, yes, I understand. Yep,
Yep.
I can see
Got
them.
it.
Okay. Ed, you had another,
Yeah, just going back to George's point on the traffic flow. You've got this as two ways traffic on both sides of the funeral parlor.
Yeah.
Maybe you can consider this, and I actually thought it was one-way flow myself. Maybe you could consider making this one-way counterclockwise flow around the traffic parlor And that might answer George's question about, I'm not expecting an answer now. I'm saying
Right.
consider it. When I've gone there I always go in on the right-hand side of the funeral parlor and kind of swing around. And it seems like everybody's doing the same thing. So the natural flow might be that way. And the other thing is just basically a compliment. I think over the years, Dolan has done a great job with this property. I can remember when this was Proctor Lumber. And,
Long
huh?
time ago.
Yeah, and the front part of the funeral house was the main office of Proctor Lumber. So that's a long time ago, but they've done a nice job with the property over the years.
I'll reiterate that. I live up in that area, and they've always maintained that property in excellent condition, so.
Well, I'd certainly bring that up with our client. It was one of the questions in the engineer's review. So when we looked at it, it really isn't marked out in any particular fashion. So without any specific direction to motorists
Well,
coming and going,
it
we
might
put
s-
in what is potentially the way it could be used any which way right now.
If you
So we
marked it
could-
out one way, it might solve
Yep.
the concerns, yeah.
Yeah, I know your comment about having
walkway or
adequate
something.
room, people getting in and out, that was one of his concerns. So the portico, his instruction was to make it wide enough so that when somebody pulled in, they opened doors to let people out. They had ample room on either side so that people were safe and people could get in and out
I think if you look at it, you see
easily.
if there's some way to either mark it out or put a walkway in. or
Right,
something
he
that-
definitely wants one way under that portico. I don't know if he has a particular desire which way, but I know it's supposed to be one way.
Maybe it'll be
So we could do
clockwise
that.
instead of counterclockwise. That might work better.
That might make sense.
Yep. And while I'm up here, I will say that I got the town engineer's review comments this week. The plan you have in front of you addresses that. Since I'm up here, if you have any specific questions, I could go through them one by one, or if there's anyone in particular. But even though there were a number of them,
Was there address?
they were
Yeah,
minor in
They've been
nature.
addressed, I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
have
so.
any particular.
Let's see, anybody else have any questions? I had one, I just wanted to verify the height of the proposed new garage. Is that essentially the same as the height of the existing garage?
It's a little lower.
Okay. All right,
So the new garage is 17 feet at the ridge and 16 feet at the lowest point
Okay.
of the roof. I believe that's very similar to the existing garage, except it is slightly higher on the hill. The hill does slope very gently down towards the railroad track, so I think
Yeah,
they're
I can-
very, very
I can-
close.
I can see the, okay, anybody else? All right,
You did have a comment about a question about the garage and the grading, and that was also on the town engineer's comments.
Yep.
As far as proposed grading. When we looked at that proposed garage, the back of it is going to be built into a hill.
okay,
So because it was a prefab building, my concern was that we would need a separate retaining wall around the back of the building to hold that hill back. In talking with the architects, the solution was to use the foundation as a retaining wall. So the foundation wall in that area is actually going to be higher than originally
Gotcha.
thought. So that will minimize any adjustment of grades. The only other proposed grading is associated with that building, nothing associated with the addition on the main building. But as you can imagine, the garage has to have a level floor from left to right. The existing grade does slope slightly, so that grading will be adjusted immediately in front of the garage. It'll have to be cut out and repaved to match the new garage floor elevation. But they will be able to still continue to park in front of it, just like they do all of the other garages, because they don't need access to it during any of the assemblies.
Okay.
Follow up on the garage. What is the intended purpose of the garage? Is it strictly for storage, or are they going to do repairs in this garage?
Oh, I believe it's just storage.
That's just car storage.
Yep, the vehicle, the funeral vehicles.
He's got some of his house, some of other houses.
Yeah.
Consolidate them all.
So if it's strictly for storage and not to be
That's it,
used
period.
as an auto repair shop,
No,
then
period.
I'm fine with it. I think that's something that,
Not whatsoever.
you know, we get surprises once in a while. So,
We do.
you know.
Okay. Once more around, and then I'll open up the public hearing. Okay.
Good.
All right. Well, this being a public hearing, is there anybody from the public who would like to comment on this? Nobody? All right, seeing none, I'll leave that open for the moment. Let's see, we have minor site plan, and there were 2 permits in here, Devin?
One minor site plan and one special permit.
One
for
permit.
the detached garage.
Okay, and when are you going before the ZBA on the variance?
They haven't scheduled it yet. They wanted to appear before you first,
Okay.
but it'd probably be March,
Oh, that's.
the first meeting in
out there.
March.
And when would you anticipate beginning construction? I presume that's in the spring?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, all
Okay,
right.
so I just have a general question.
Yeah.
'Cause Nan actually brought it up. What's the difference between recorded land and registered land?
Same thing.
One, you have to go through land court, and the other is through the local registry of deeds.
So there's nothing that you have to do with that. It's on the plan. It's just kind of strange. It's right down the middle of the property.
Yeah, evidently there was probably, if you end up in land court, you've either had a dispute or there's been a problem with a deed. So at some point in the history of the properties, part of it ended up in land court and the other part.
So it doesn't affect this project at all.
No, it
I
doesn't.
had to ask. Nan pointed it out, and I went, yeah, I don't know.
I tell them something.
I don't know.
Deed research.
When you go to the registry of deeds,
Yeah.
it affects how you look it up.
Okay.
Because you can look up one under recorded land, a certain address, and it'll never show up.
Yeah.
And if it's gone through a land court, you then have to switch to the registered land.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole different
Why I
lookup.
don't do what you do.
Yeah.
It's a whole different lookup.
So this property is actually multiple lots?
Well, it was at one point in its
Probably
history.
at one point.
It was merged? Okay.
Probably.
Alright.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, yes,
I
go
just
ahead.
wonder if I could address, when the project was introduced, it was mentioned that the engineering requests had not been formalized in terms of
Okay.
being acted upon.
Yeah.
And those 8 points have been addressed, and we've discussed that. I just wanted to know if you needed us to point out any of that now in favor of trying to ensure that there was an understanding going forward in terms of, if we were to get a continuance or.
I see, yeah. I don't know, at this point, I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, I see everything I need to see. Is there anybody that wants something particular pointed out?
If, you make a decision contingent on,
Yeah.
the engineer being satisfied.
Right.
We could put in there some sort of,
Oh, we
they address the,
You'll find out about circulation.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do have,
Yeah.
Plus, that's
questions
not-
I
that
think
need
they
to come
still
back.
need to come back. And by then we'll have letters.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should do that.
go to the next meeting. And
yeah, I think that makes some sense.
Especially when I haven't even gone to ZBA,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're all
we'll,
pretty.
we'll still finish it in January.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, yeah.
we'll finish this one up at the next meeting, I would imagine. Yeah, okay, Yes.
And one other last thing, excuse me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, in terms of the other comments on the package that we received back, the owner has asked us to consider applying for a waiver from the fire department requirement. So we may pursue that, and I don't know if that needs to be part of the notes from tonight.
If they're
but-
satisfied, we'll be fine.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think it has to be. If
Yeah,
they-
Yeah.
Because if we vote based on, accepting their
Right.
letter, and it says three
Yeah, the
three
standard
sprinkler
letter, yeah.
systems or whatever it may be,
Right.
then if they change it, does that affect our decision?
Well, I think we would need another letter submitted, just
Yeah, we-
specifying what they're,
Yeah.
what they
Any
want.
comment?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Normally, almost 100% on fire department stuff and all other departments, we require them to be satisfied. So before we usually vote, we will need a clean letter from the fire department that
Okay.
says all the details. And if you're increasing the size of this, that they think you need a sprinkler system, you've got to hash it out with them as to what the NFPA requirements are.
Sure.
That's usually
Yeah,
what we do.
that's how we handle
We
it.
don't overrule usually the fire department.
Of course. All right.
Once in a while.
Well,
very often.
not very often. It's not our modus operandi. Okay, that said, I think the appropriate thing here is for us to continue this to the next meeting. Yeah.
You opened it to the public?
Yes, I have. We have had nobody step up.
I missed
But,
that.
but we can leave it open, and we can,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to speak to it the next meeting, we can certainly let them do that.
Yeah,
I would just like to see if they have enough time to work on the waiver, to
Yeah.
continue it to the 27th. Is that enough time for you?
Normally, we continue, I'll jump in. Normally, we continue it for 2 weeks to our last meeting in January, 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
You tell us if that's enough time, or if you want to go to the meeting in February.
I think that's enough time.
Okay.
And I,
If you don't have enough time, you can just submit something to us before that meeting and ask for a continuance
Yeah,
to the
and we'll
next.
certainly grant it.
Okay. That's great. I think also we wanted to ask, in terms of a continuance, would it be possible, if we're just talking about the funeral home as opposed to the garage, would it be possible to get the garage piece approved tonight?
Actually, I think that's a matter for the zoning board of appeals more than us.
Right, because of the setback.
Right, and
Okay.
we would want to, because this is a minor site plan, we'd want to handle it all in one transaction.
Well, you're doing a special permit for the detached garage.
Right.
Over 900 square feet.
Right. So that's going to be a permit by itself.
Yep.
We usually do it all.
Yeah,
at once.
that's our preferred mechanism if we can do that.
But I think if you can read between the lines, I don't see much
Yeah.
opposition here.
Yeah, I don't think you got a problem.
Well, if you're concerned about timing, what we'll do is we can expedite the ZBA. There's nothing preventing you from submitting that tomorrow.
Great.
You can get on the probably
The 4th.
be February 4th. So we'll be in contact with you tomorrow.
All right, terrific.
Okay. Very good. Motion to continue?
All right, seeing as we're at that point, I'll make a motion to continue Planning Board 2015-21, 106 Middlesex Street, to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is
27th.
January 27th.
I'll second it. Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, 5-0.
Thank you.
We'll see you next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Okay. The next one up is a continued public hearing on 54 Bartlett Street.
Colleen, maybe you can drop an email to Henry, and maybe he can watch it.
Yeah, get them all in.
Roll, so they have 7.
I can do that.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
These are all the same.
Ooh.
Colleen's trying to give me
Secretary.
hard feeling. Yeah, she put, they're all the same paper. There's like 40 copies. I'm like, you're killing me here.
I'm sorry, you meant to pass those on to the board.
It's gonna show up in the review.
Oh, give me one more. I'll pass it down to Monica.
Thank you.
Gotta read each one.
Like, whoa.
Excuse me.
Okay, you're up.
I'll read this one real quick. From the fire department, dear members, I've reviewed the proposal of the subdivision at 54 Bartlett Street in Chelmsford, and I find the following. Fire department vehicle access to the rear lot shall be attained by proposed 14-foot wide driveway. The driveway shall be built to withstand and support the heaviest piece of firefighting apparatus in the town of Chelmsford Fire Department. Ladder is 83,000 pounds. The overhead clearance of the driveway shall be maintained at 13 feet 6 inches. There shall be approved provisions for fire apparatus to turn around at the end of the driveway. The applicant's engineer shall provide an analysis of and evaluation of fire apparatus maneuvers throughout the driveway/access road by swept path analysts. The proposed single-family home shall be protected throughout by an adequate system of automatic sprinklers to be designed in accordance with NFPA 13D 2013 edition standard 527 CMR 100CH 18.2.3.1.3 with a 1 in parentheses. Got a little bit of everything on that one. This office approves this proposal with the conditions. I respectfully ask the board to make this letter a part of their approval process.
So you got one for the file?
Got one for the file.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Brian Melissi with Whitman Bingham Associates, here representing and with me tonight Deborah Dunn on 54 Bartlett Street. We were in front of this board 2 meetings ago, and if you remember correctly, that we had provided a plan that showed a fairly large amount of pavement. In the crux of the discussion that day. Kevin, if I misspeak, you can throw something at me, but from what I understand, following that meeting, Evan, Steve Yonley of the engineering department, and Captain Dan Katsufis of the Chelmsford Fire Prevention Department met and kind of went over this. And what came out of that meeting was, of course, that letter that you just read, and Dan sent us a copy of that as well. But the crux of the meeting was that he, being fire prevention, is okay with the 14-foot wide pavement width that we had originally proposed on the plan, and that the engineering department had said was of adequate width. What he did ask for, first and foremost, was that the new house be sprinkled, and that means have a sprinkler system attached to it like you would see in commercial, retail, industrial type of buildings.
It's been unusual.
Went over it with my client, and she is amenable to that. To let this board know, I talked to the the water district to find out how he had, wanted me to plumb it. And I don't know if the details needed to be shown. Typically, what we would do as engineers, on a residential sprinkler system, we provide an oversized service. We upgrade the 1-inch service that I show on my plan to a 2-inch service that would come into the house to feed the system. And then we would come off of that with the 1-inch domestic service, just so typically what would happen is it's more of a housekeeping item. If someone didn't pay their water bill, you could go turn off the domestic service. However, the fire service would stay alive to the building. It's a residential home, but that's typically what's that for. Talked to Mr. Tanzino at the Chelmsford Water District. He had said he can only remember one other instance where they did put it in a residential sprinkler system. He was going to pull the file and get back to me on exactly how he wanted me to plumb it. I just wanted to let you guys aware of that. So what you see here is the plan. Basically, it's got that 14-foot wide driveway with the T turnaround that they talk about and service in the new building. One of the items that was brought up on the community, let me spin this around, is that? That's okay. One of the items that was brought up on the community development review letter, they asked us to look at removing the existing curb cut for 54 Bartlett Road and tying the existing driveway back into, and making the driveway here a true shared driveway. This plan does show that. However, what we would like to point out that there are actually 4 fairly large trees in this area here. One of them gets really close to the proposed driveway. We may not be able to save it, although we're gonna try. And the driveway would have to kind of skinny right between a 12-inch spruce and a 30-inch pine. So the bottom line is what we would like to do is to try to keep that driveway out onto Bartlett Street to save some of those large mature trees in here. We can do it from an engineering standpoint, it certainly can be drawn and it can be constructed. We'd like to ask the board their consideration to leaving the driveway there and just having the new driveway service to one home.
Can you flip it to see, so we can see what the old driveway looks like? Okay,
I see what you got, yeah.
okay, so that's the old
If you
driveway.
go out there today, this is the existing driveway that services 54 Bartlett. There is a little bit of a spur here for, coming out of the driveway.
Yeah.
You can pull out and pull your maneuver around. And I believe it was Evan who brought it up, that just asked maybe we can connect these, and we're just trying to save some of those trees.
Yeah.
The other thing that was brought up by, I believe, some of the abutters was that the green space, between the edge of pavement and the property line in through here. This board had asked us, or asked me, to stake the center line of the road and stake the house location, in which we did that. We let Evan know that it was done. I don't know if any of the board members have had a chance to go out there and view that. But there was talk about maybe throwing some arborvitaes out there. I believe after the meeting, the term came out that said this really isn't an arborvitae neighborhood. We're certainly amenable to putting some landscaping there, hydrangeas and some azaleas that Deborah said was on the property now. I believe is it hydrangeas? And so we would put some hydrangeas and whatnot here to try to soften some of that edge between the driveway and the abutter. In a nutshell, that's it. We were kind of waiting for that volley back from the fire department to see whether they were going to be amenable to the 14-foot wide driveway. I talked to Captain Dan, I believe, on Friday when he wrote that letter. And so we're here in front of you with that. I do have small, 11 by 17 portions of this plan and a couple of large ones. I do not have an entire set of plans that have been revised yet. I was hoping, or to see if there was any comments from the site walk, that we might be able to incorporate one last revision onto the Mylar plans, and hopefully we get an approval, obviously, but, and that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any questions?
Just, I guess this is more towards Evan. Is this, so this is, well, maybe Brian can get the better answer. So this is the new trade-off if we go to a small driveway, the fire department's now requiring a full-blown sprinkler? This is the new trade-off?
This is the, so we had a meeting, as Brian mentioned, and the Massachusetts Comprehensive Fire Safety Code apparently was amended probably late 2013, early 2014, became effective immediately, and they've been going through trainings and so forth. But the new change is fairly significant. It it defines what a fire department access road is, which the fire department is interpreting is also to include driveways. In this case, it's not just a driveway, it's also a private road.
Right, it's a private road.
Yep. And so it indicates that a minimum width is to be no less than 20 feet. It also has some other design standards, and it says, it gives the fire department discretion to modify those standards with the condition that they can require sprinklers.
Okay.
So generally the concern is the length of the access road from the main road to the point of the structure. I don't know the events that occurred within fire safety operations that would have resulted in these changes. But this happens to be probably the first private way subdivision in Chelmsford that's bumped up to this. And my assumption is that the applicant, working with the client, have figured out what's the cost-benefit analysis between building out a wider road compared to putting in sprinklers.
Okay. So in the future, aside from this, when we look at other subdivisions, Did it have to be a 20-footer or where?
Any
sprinkler?
subdivision that doesn't comply with a minimum 20-foot width,
Okay.
so if it's intended to be publicly accepted, it's going to be more than 20 feet
Yeah.
paved width. So it's usually, primarily it's going to be these private ways with reduced design standards that are going to bump into this issue.
Okay.
My guess too is, that, where this is such a long driveway,
Yeah.
to get back there, really get one fire truck or two, down there to fight a
I'll
fire.
bottle
Can't
everything
get
up.
multiple trucks.
Right. Where if it was out close to the street and it was maybe a 20-foot driveway,
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, that's exactly what the fire department said. They did say that they want all projects designed to accommodate the ladder truck, that they intend to bring that to a call. But it is a case-by-case basis, so they understand, but their sensitivity on something like this is the length of the driveway.
All right, thank you. I understand the requirement better now. First time we've seen it. Thank you.
I'll send out a copy.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be good, thanks.
Can you
I'll PDF that to you.
email it?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Okay, any other,
I think the elephant in the room is the driveway is.
yeah,
Do we want it to be one driveway or two driveways? My initial thought, looking at it, is the house to the left. Basically, if you do what you have on this plan, combining the driveways, what's the light impact to the house on the vehicles coming out at night?
Oh, God.
The headlights hitting
Yeah.
basically straight onto that side of that house.
right.
I'm not sure if that's a garage on that side or if it's living space, but it's,
Family room,
Talking
right?
about my house there,
I believe it's your house.
that's the house. That's
So-
not, that's
So-
the back of,
But the
Uh,
garage
living
end of the
room
house,
and-
right? The garage is not, or the,
no, the garage is on the other side of the home,
So-
not on Deborah's side.
In that case, I would defer to the two driveways.
Driveways, I think it'd be a
I
lot-
agree with you, George.
a little bit less pavement too, it's already there.
And I tend to be a little bit sensitive to the trees. I like to leave up as much,
Right, at least it gives
wood
a
as I
little bit
can.
of
so,
relief to that neighbor.
okay. And people generally think that the two driveway solution is a better one. Okay,
Yeah.
I think we're,
Cuts down
I
the
think we're good
light
with that.
impact.
Yep.
Slightly, but not.
Okay, any other questions from the board before I open it up? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a question for Evan in terms of a clarification. Did I hear you say, as you were explaining to Ed, that the fire chief is going to expect 20-foot wide driveways for houses?
No, that's not their expectation. That's certainly their desire. But they understand the planning board's goals and objectives of preserving the character as well as mature trees
And reducing the
and reducing
impervious
pavement.
area?
Right, so they acknowledge that this is a reasonable compromise.
Okay.
But I think for them, they can justify the compromise due to the sprinkler requirement.
Should we expect to see them requiring sprinkler systems on short driveways, short private driveways?
I think that's where their discretion comes into play. Where's the closest fire hydrant, I think is a key factor in their decision-making. Most of our private ways are fairly lengthy driveways for obvious reasons. And this is a good example where it provides some additional flexibility to allow a project like this to take place to begin with. So if you had a shorter driveway, the fire department said that they would, exercise some reasonable discretion. So it's on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, well, we'll have to monitor that as it
Minor
goes
question-
along.
Follow-up question to that one. Did they give any inclination as to exactly what length they were looking to, change these standards requiring this?
Not specifically, but I think it's probably upwards of 100, 150 feet or more.
It goes probably how far they have to pull the hoses.
Yeah.
That type of thing. I mean,
Yep.
they have to think about worst-case scenario, which you pray never happens. And, to get in there and do what they gotta do. And
Okay. Anybody else? Right, this is a public hearing, and this is the time.
May I?
Yes. Please do.
Thank you. My name's Paula Flamia. Thank you for letting me speak. I guess I have a few questions for what he had to say in engineering. The length, what is the length of this driveway?
It's 290 feet.
290 feet? Sorry, I'm just making notes here for myself, thank you. And so I wanted to just see it up close to understand, yes, this is our house here with all the windows in the back. So the orientation is still the same. May we flip this over to the other side? So when you say the shared driveway, can you explain that a little bit more? So it would be Deborah's driveway and, sorry.
Is it okay, Mr. Chair, if I just kind of,
Yeah, please do, please do.
supposed to go through you?
Yeah.
The shared
okay.
driveway part was, it came through one of the comments through community development that rather than Deborah's or 54 having their own driveway, this portion where it's shaded here would have been
Oh,
removed.
that's the existing driveway,
Yeah,
yes,
would have
okay,
been
thanks.
removed, and a new piece of driveway would have been built here. So that when someone was exiting number 54 or coming in, they would exit, come out onto the new road, and then go wherever they were gonna go. It was asked of us to look at that. What we had said just tonight a little while ago was, I grew it, we would rather not do that. And I was remiss, and I think somebody brought up the fact that, so now somebody exiting this way, those headlights would shine kind of at the house. And if I'm paraphrasing, they said that they were okay with the two separate driveways, so, this portion would not be constructed.
Oh, okay.
So
We-
the driveway will stay as it is now.
Okay, so
So the
this is
shared driveway would mean
yes.
both these, the new house and the 54 would share this driveway, so that term came into play.
Okay. All
That's
right,
not the case now.
okay, so
This
I'm
driveway
sorry,
services.
I didn't even realize that this was talked about this way, because the lights would shine this way on our house, but
Right.
the lights we were talking about, well, we were talking about the lights coming out of here too, so in both directions, I didn't even realize this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so this is the existing driveway now, I have it correct? And she comes in here and parks here, and this is her
garage is
house?
here.
Yes, this is her garage, yep. So, what you're proposing now is this and this? Do I
No, no.
understand it correctly?
No, we're gone back to the
Flip it over,
existing.
Brian.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, this is the first plan that we had last time, it had the large pavement area.
Right,
This driveway will remain exactly the
Right,
same, it
right.
will not connect.
okay.
They asked us to look at the combination.
Correct, we were asked to
Okay.
look at that, and while we looked at it, we asked the board that we would rather not do that.
Not do that. So then what is the plan to move forward with just coming in here?
There's a 14-foot wide driveway.
Right.
That'll service the
Right,
proposed house.
yeah,
This portion is what they refer to as the T turnaround,
right.
or the emergency turnaround that the fire
Okay.
department requests.
So instead of the big circle, sorry to interrupt, so instead of the big circle, you just would turn
Have a
around
T
this way
turnaround,
now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you. Sorry about that. I didn't even know that other one was, okay. So still, I guess that, one more question regarding what he mentioned tonight, which was new. I understand that the house now, the new house, because the fire department is allowing a smaller, you would need the sprinkler system in the home. Engineering wise, will that affect our plumbing in any way? Is there like a lot of plumbing that has to go, or water, or anything?
That
No.
won't have any effect on you.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you. So, all right, so my husband and I would like to please ask for the considerations of the following points, and have them included in the land development process and plans if possible. Because this project is very close to our property line and will directly impact our property, we are requesting these items. Number 1, the orientation of the driveway. So the headlights of the cars will not be shining directly into our windows, and that will be the back of our home and yard. and the cars coming out of that driveway will not be driving out of the driveway in direct line with our backyard where our family works and plays. So we were talking about this garage is here, and so coming out is shining right here. This is our living room, and this is our basement, the bottom floor, top floor, and bedrooms this here. Our garage is this over here. So the orientation of the driveway would be the first thing because of the lights and the cars coming right out there. Next point, orientation of the house, the newly built house, so as to not be directly facing our home, windows, and yard. So, in my kitchen, it's a clear view right back to here. We were hoping that this orientation of the home could, I don't know, be in a different direction. That's what we mean by the orientation of the home. And then thirdly, screening by trees and other natural structures to provide privacy between the homes and driveway and blend this large private driveway in with the beauty and historic feel of this old street and neighborhood. To remind you, this street is lined with old trees and stone walls like found on declared scenic roads in Chelmsford. These natural screenings we are requesting, for example, trees that may not lose their leaves, so they're private the whole year through, are requested along the driveway and between the properties, and in a natural way to provide privacy and protection from the driveway. And then fourthly, protection of our current trees along the property line, especially near the front of the stone wall. Near the front here, we have trees here, right alongside of this stone wall right here. And wondering if there may be a site visit. I don't know if someone...
Well, we had discussed site visiting, and I believe the driveway is staked currently. We can, do we want to, do you want to take a site visit up there, or do we want to, or have people taking a look already, just gone by?
I've driven by and taken a look at.
Okay,
I can drive by. I haven't driven by yet.
okay,
I thought we were talking about, I assume
yeah,
we were talking about site visit, that's why I didn't drive by.
right.
And
I'm-
then,
I'm- I'm perfectly amenable to a site visit, although I think I have a pretty good idea from what I see.
I just wanted to, and lastly, and thank you very much again, I just, in driving around, started looking at private driveways, long private driveways where the houses are in the back. And typically, there's lots of trees, like it's lush, on the sides of those long driveways. And unfortunately, there's not enough room there for it, but anyway, thank
Okay.
you.
Brian?
No, it's just, as far as the house goes, obviously I put kind of a standard new construction, quote-unquote, new construction house on that. It's more than likely not gonna be the exact style house that goes on there. We have found that trying to either write a condition stating exactly what kind of house, or exactly what kind of orientation goes in there, kind of gets a little befuddled up there. I mean, there's the building envelope that we put in here. I oriented the house such that it would face the driveway and kind of face as much to the roadway as possible. The amount of traffic that's gonna be coming out of that, one single-family home, and while we're certainly respectful of the headlight issue and the shining in, we're 100% amenable to, to buffering the edge between the driveway and the property line to try to provide a lot of that screening as much as possible. But I did find that with the T turnaround now, rather than, putting the massive pavement in there, that the T turnaround works better as shown. I tried to fool with a couple of scenarios where we come off of that T turnaround into the driveway and whatnot. To me, it seemed better to work this way. Now, that's not to say that somebody comes along and buys this lot and has a house plan that shows the driveway or the garage being flipped, and that that can be attained. However, to try to write that into a condition is something that we would want to look at that very closely. Obviously, it starts to diminish the value of the lot. Protection of the trees on the budding property, obviously, we don't have the right to go on to do any tree work on their property at all. With the reduced pavement of the 14-foot wide pavement now, we're able to pull the edge of pavement a little further away from that property line. I do not think that's gonna be an issue. And of course, we're not hiding anything. We had it staked out. We're certainly willing to go do a site walk, but in respect to my client, we just kind of want to try to keep the process moving along. Obviously, we had to meet with the fire department, and I appreciate having a meeting with that, so we skipped that second meeting in December to come to this meeting, and we just would like to just kind of keep this moving along, so.
Okay.
I had a question for him.
Go ahead.
Brian, between the driveway and her property, how much you got there?
Between the driveway
On this side, yeah,
and her property,
and the property line?
it's,
Where the green area, where you gonna put the trees?
so it's 7 minus 20, 13 feet.
13, so you got enough room there, you could almost even put like a berm down there and put a bunch of white pines on top of it. You wouldn't even see that that driveway or anything. That'd block everything right
We're
out.
outside after the-
Rhododendrons would be denser.
Yeah, or rhododendron, anything, but
And
get
rhododendrons would
them
look
on
good
like
up
a 5-foot high or a 4-foot high berm. It'll block
That'll block
everything.
everything.
All the lights out, you won't see nothing.
So it kind of met the definition of a kind of an evergreen, but it wasn't but this isn't an arborvitae kind of
Yeah,
neighborhood.
right.
Have
That's
to-
correct.
And I think somebody mentioned that outside, so we would say in that, to go with the hydrangeas or something along that line. We would
Hydrangeas
certainly-
don't stay green.
Okay,
Ben?
so it was the,
The roadies certainly do.
Just don't say oak trees.
no,
I don't care, it's not a
know.
parking area.
Our favorite.
It's not a high-density construction, so.
Ed?
You want to put
Just
oak
so-
trees along there, you could, but they're, pin oaks are not really the definition of staying green.
Just so everybody knows in the public, and the abutter knows, if we approve this, what's the building envelope? Point out the building envelope that the potential could be for the house. Just go around, draw the
you want
rectangle.
to come up, because it's, but
Yeah.
it's really, what the building envelope, we described it as you take the front, side, rear offsets. And so the building envelope really is that. So to meet
Okay.
zoning, that house could actually be placed, anywhere within that envelope. Now, what we try to do, obviously, is you try to be,
Yeah, just-
you're looking at the length of driveway, you're looking at the amount of
No.
green space of the trees that you have to, so I'm not right on that front yard offset, I'm a few feet back, which is comfortable as far as zoning goes.
Yeah, what I wanted to point out for the abutter was that if this is approved and somebody buys this and builds this, that house could be any place in that rectangle. The driveway is pretty much where it is, but the house can be moved. That's, so you understand.
That's the only place for the driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
But the house can be moved around with the builder, and that's maybe a couple of years down the road. But anyway, okay, and second thing I want to say is, I agree with Glenn's idea. I'd go along with a berm, about what did you want, a 4 or 5 foot high berm? No, that's
very tall to
4
get
5 feet.
Kill the.
Whatever.
not even
It doesn't have to be that high. 4 feet would be plenty high, I would think.
Yeah,
3,
that's-
4 feet.
Free and add roadies.
And
Are
it-
you talking about,
Along your-
here, or, and also what's gonna be done with the privacy
Well-
of here to the home? No, you
the-
can't.
the- Probably from
We can't solve it
maybe-
all. We're trying to, what they try to do is minimize
Minimize your
what-
cost on it.
what you can, and I think, coming up with a berm, which is not too bad, and I wouldn't put a number on it, I think that to berm it to help
Berm it,
minimize,
yeah, let the-
along with some.
Yeah, berm maybe from where the fire department T is to just about
Yeah.
where, next to her house, that'd kill the headlights pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't see them.
You wouldn't see them with something on top of them.
Because of the existing topography and some of the grades that they have to do and some other issues, site issues may impact that.
So why don't, so what I'm hearing is, 3 to 4 foot earthen berm from the T to the, house, measured along the, proposed way, planted with, roadies
Well,
or equivalent.
Or other evergreen.
Okay, and then,
Dense evergreen.
and then maybe, how about something to the effect of, with the coordination of the abutter in the field,
yeah.
something to that
exactly.
effect.
With, yeah, approval.
That make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
Okay.
Because you may, the berm may be, 50 feet in length, but maybe the real sensitivity for the view shed is a specific, point.
It's a nice way to do it, because you can actually walk it in the field, find those particular areas, again, with window placement and things, and say, where the street works better right here.
So what we're contemplating at this point is for headlights that are 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, what we're contemplating would eliminate that glare directly from the headlight into your property and then on, into your house or onto your house.
So we can be there sort of to.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
we could require
Got
some
coordinating.
coordination in the field,
Okay.
so you can kind of adjust,
Ed.
make adjustments in the field.
I,
Be amenable to that.
Sorry.
I have a minor question in terms of because I know the house can be orientated pretty much anywhere within that rectangle. Can we restrict that orientation to some extent? Because I assume it's gonna, modern houses have attached driveways and, garages, and so even that, the light from,
I wouldn't,
Would you
No.
buy it if it was
Diminishes the
restricted?
property value.
Yeah.
You already
You don't
do
know
it
what kind
with
of
your
house-
setbacks.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
that's fine.
That's difficult. That's why I think what the board's contemplating is a sure, reasonable kind of mitigative measure.
I would agree. Ed, you had a question?
The other thing is, and the other lady, an abutter on the, I don't remember her name. She was one of those two lots behind there. She's on Boston Road.
Yeah.
What I'd look for is something in the conditions, Evan, I'd look for something in the conditions.
No cut zone? A
Pardon?
no cut zone? Is that what
Yeah.
you're going to say?
No cut zone, or
Within the setback?
maybe some
within the setback.
arborvitae's or some few extra plantings back there to kind of shield her a little bit
The
from the
difficulty with
house.
that is, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's mature vegetation back there, right?
Pardon?
Yeah.
The difficulty with planting any new arborvitae or roadies under mature oaks, I'm
Oh, they
assuming?
dies.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Well, it's, okay,
no- no cut zone?
a no cut zone, a no cut zone.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that before, and within the setback,
Yeah.
which is 30 feet back there or something, right? So 30-foot no-cut zone on the backside of that lot is not unreasonable. I mean, that's the distance.
That's out of your envelope anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
unless there's trees that are sick or dying, and then of course you.
Yeah.
Then you maintain your plantings.
Okay. All right.
Question?
Yes?
Yeah, could you, give me some clarification on the elevations on this, because frankly, I can't read it from here. What is the drop on the driveway from the street to the house?
So there's a profile in the whole
Yeah.
package.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have it in front of me, and I can't read that.
Roughly we go from about a 208 contour near where the new driveway is gonna intersect. And the contour about where the house is shown now is about 190, so there's about 18-foot elevation difference.
Over 200 and some odd
Over the
feet.
whole
Over
200, almost
200
300
feet.
feet. So the driveway itself is great, except there's a leveling area of 2%, which is fairly level for a level area.
That's not over 6%, right?
No, and
Okay.
it is 6%.
It
Just
is.
It is
about this
6%.
area here.
Okay.
Read those
Yeah.
regulations too.
Yeah.
And then it flattens out at the T turnaround. And
Okay.
and what it does is, if you look at the profiles, is the lighter lines here are the existing grade, the heavy line is the proposed grade. And why that is done is to minimize, we talked about this before, is to minimize some of that earthwork through this area here. What we're gonna be doing basically is scraping off that top and subsoil, getting down to the parent material, and then putting in the road base and the pavement base. So what we're trying to do is really
Well, now you have
minimize the amount of.
Now you have a
earthwork.
place to put the material.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
burn
So
it up.
how much does this lot drop off behind the end of the driveway then?
Behind the end of the driveway.
Yeah,
So
that's another,
at the driveway, we're
what,
talking
10-foot drop or
about
20-foot
192
drop?
here, and it's 182 there, so you can
So
read
it's
a
another
plan.
10-foot
Pretty good drop in the backyard.
All
Yeah.
right, so it's fairly substantial.
And again, but that's through, I think these are 30 scale plans.
House will be a walkout.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
across another 150 feet. So it definitely drops off,
Yeah.
but it's not steep, it's fairly gentle.
It has interesting architectural possibilities for building.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, yeah. All right. I don't want to do a site walk if it's all ice.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm-
we need
I
it.
think,
think
I
there's need,
personally
I mean,
think I get it
I'm good to
from,
go.
from the plans. Okay, we can go with that. I would encourage anybody to just drive by and just
Yeah.
get a picture in their head of what the site looks like. I will. I'll walk over. Yes,
May I ask one more question? How much room does the fire truck need to enter into the driveway? Because there's stone wall.
okay,
on
they
the-
have that specified,
It's-
and
it's
they've,
gonna be
they've
wider than
said
the-
that this is acceptable for their equipment. So, we-
The
we-
opening of the
Correct.
driveway
What
is
happens
how
is
wide?
Yeah.
Think of it as a fluted opening. You know, the driveway itself's 14 feet wide, but there's radiuses on either side. And then we have to get rid of the obstructions on either side, so, right. So a 14-foot wide, I could scale it off. It's probably about 24
Now,
feet wide.
Evan, is Bartlett a scenic road?
No.
It's not.
It's not. Might be a good candidate.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, well, that being the case, let's see, we have,
Before you,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna close, Mr. Chair, what I'd like to do too, just to make sure that you guys know, one of the things in the engineering was the Form J, which is the covenant for the scenic or private road.
right,
If you look at the document, there's some information that needs to go in here about date of the certificate of approval and whatnot.
okay.
But for the file, I'd like to say.
Okay, yeah, let's
I
get
gave
that
a
in.
Draft. It certainly isn't going to be the final document until I get some more information to put in there.
That's fine.
But for the file, we would certainly be, we know we have to do it. and-
Form
so
J.
I'll hand them out.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
good. All right, yeah, this is pretty standard Form J. Okay. So, you had another one?
Yeah, okay, this is gonna be a question. We close the public, I can make a motion to close, but do we need the public hearing open so he can revise his plans to show the berm and that kind of stuff? And the driveway, the way it's really gonna be? Is that,
But you could require that as part of the Mylar prior to endorsement. So they submit they prepare the revised plans,
okay?
and then when they request endorsement,
Yeah,
that's
then
what the
we'll
board
check
is
it, we'll check it in
endorsing.
endorsement.
Is
time.
endorsing.
I think we all have a pretty good idea what we're talking about here.
Yeah, okay.
So, just as long as it makes it onto the Mylars.
All right, I can make it part of the motion too.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Any other comments or thoughts? Take it away.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to close Planning Board 2015-17, 54, to close the public hearing for Planning Board 2015-17, 54 Bartlett Street.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to close. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I don't vote.
You got the easy job. Okay,
All right, I'm gonna, since we appear to be of one mind, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept or approve Planning Board 2015-17, 54 Bartlett Street, with the conditions that, one, it has a no-cut zone at the eastern end of the property. What's that?
Along the rear.
Rear of the property. Is that the eastern?
Southeast.
Yeah.
Rear setback.
Rear setback of the property. Okay, so there's a no-cut zone at the rear setback of the property. Two, that there's a berm approximately 3 to 4 feet high, planted with rhododendrons or dense evergreens from the approximately fire department tee to the abutter's house. With the abutter working with the contractor for specific placement of the trees and with consultation from the abutter. And three, the third condition is that we revert back to the original driveway condition with two separate driveways, one for the proponent, the existing driveway for the proponent, and the new single driveway for the rear lot.
Okay, I think you've covered them all.
I think I got them all, I think.
Evan, did we miss one?
Oh, you got them all?
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
We have moved and seconded. Any more comments before we take this to a vote? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Just got, before we close out,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I got a question. The fire department, Evan, the fire department, letter, will that be part of the decision, or do I have to make a motion?
No,
for that?
I'll incorporate that.
For the sprinklers, 'cause that's
Yep,
important,
yep.
yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we have approved this.
Yep.
You want to draft something up?
Draft it out and get it out to you.
Great, okay. Then we'll check the final wording there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
And you guys all work together and sort out the stuff along the edge of the road. Good. Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
I always get one of my sons to do the building. That's my whole plan.
They're gonna
Make sure
wanna
you get a
move
cut
in.
instead.
They're gonna wanna move in.
I want them to move back.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Yep.
Good luck.
Could be a nice project.
That could be a gorgeous project.
Okay. Bartlett's beautiful anyway. Okay, we don't appear to have any ZBA reviews. Thank you.
Hey.
Let's see, we do, I think next up would be a discussion on the planning board vacancy, and it looks as if we've got somebody here from the selectmen, I guess. Where are you from?
I'm just observing today.
Oh, okay, you're just observing.
She may be the liaison.
Are you our liaison? Oh, all the better.
I know, I usually miss your meeting
Yeah.
because I have the CPC next door.
Right.
And so I.
Too many hats.
Exactly, on the same Wednesday
Welcome
night.
to be a freshman.
Okay. I have poked about and asked about, and I have not encountered anybody that seems at this point to be deeply interested in taking a spot on the planning board. Is anybody else here?
Pray tell.
I've had the same experience.
Yes, okay. I know, we've all been
Doesn't seem
looking.
like it's enough time
I have to
to,
admit that I haven't contacted the person I was thinking.
You have one person in mind? Well,
I have one person in mind, but I don't know whether they'll have any interest.
I think the bottom line is by the time you advertise it, by
Yeah.
the time you,
how many meetings would they do? Maybe 2?
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
by the time the appointment happens, which would be the beginning of February,
Yeah.
there's 2 meetings February, 2 meetings March, and then they have to run for election.
Right.
And they only got 3 weeks to get their nomination papers.
That's right.
Right, and that's,
4 weeks right now.
that's the other piece of this. We do not, at this point, have,
Nobody's pulling.
nobody's pulled papers for this.
We can let it go till next year. See how it happens at the election. What I would recommend is that we don't appoint anybody, because first of all,
Yeah.
we don't have anybody to appoint.
Yeah.
There's not enough
You're
time
dead
for them
on.
to pull papers and be
Yeah.
success, you know.
Okay, then let's leave it at that. I think that's really the best we can do.
And I will make every effort to be here for the special permit.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George. That'll help us.
You might fill that 2-year vacancy, George, you never know.
I write it.
Then I get the
Look
vote.
what happened the last time.
It only takes 3 votes, right?
Yeah.
To get you back in a full seat.
Okay, well then, in that case, let's just leave this until the election, and people continue to ask about, it really would be nice to find a qualified person who actually wants to run and-
Yeah, for the 2-year seat.
for the 2 years. Yeah, it's a 2-year seat.
Not your seat?
No, I got the 3-year seat.
Yeah,
I-
right.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, these guys have pulled the
We can
papers
pull
for
for
the 3-year
whatever.
seat, so, we will.
We shouldn't discuss that.
Yeah. Citizens petition on zoning change.
So I emailed a copy of the petition out to you. As I mentioned in my
Yep.
email, this was on the Board of Selectmen's agenda Monday night. My understanding is that they're having town council prepare the proper wording for inclusion in the town warrant. The town manager indicates that the planning board, as I mentioned to you, is required to hold the public hearing. So the reason it was on the agenda tonight is for the board to determine the date of that hearing. The earliest we can have that would be February 24th. You could choose.
Let's
you could
do
choose a
it
meeting.
February 24th. I don't think this is going to be hard.
So as normal practice, just so the board and the public is aware, all the butters within 300 feet will be notified via direct mailing. It'll be on the planning board agenda. We open the hearing on the 24th. The proponent's allowed to give a presentation, board's allowed to ask questions, public is allowed to ask questions, make comment, and the board is free and clear to continue the hearing if deemed necessary.
Okay, and the purpose of this hearing is simply for us to do an approval or non-approval?
So you're giving a recommendation to town meeting?
Recommendation to town meeting.
Correct.
Which we're not required to do, but we certainly
No,
can.
it's a zoning change.
It's a
so-
zoning change.
Well, we have to have the hearing. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to take a position.
No, but if
Although I think we
if you
should.
don't, there's a lot of questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and then as part of the hearing process, the board can consider whether they want to co-sponsor it, or
Yeah.
whether they want the
Exactly.
proponent to go on their own at
Okay.
town meeting.
Well, then let's take that up at the end of February.
Okay, very good.
Do we have any old business? Any committee reports?
I don't have anything from NEMCOG. It's been pretty quiet, other than DLTA, whatever round this is, 9, 8, has, was sent out to the managers. I think Chelmsford's got a couple things on that list. I don't recall what they were, but I'll get more of a report next week on it. But that seems to be moving forward. It's been pretty quiet.
Well, people are just recovering from the holidays and all that.
Yeah.
Any other committees? There's still, of course, the master plan review, which we have
That
to
is
get together.
that's my next task.
Next task.
Those emails will be going up by the end of this month.
Excellent. Okay, we'll take care of that.
I would expect first meeting ideally to be in February.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's get that done. I have mentioned it to a couple of people. and I've-
Center Village Master Plan Committee has been reappointed. They'll be meeting for the first time as an implementation committee on January 28th. So they'll be assisting me with the wayfinding signage, RFP design services that was approved at Fall Town meeting. And then they'll be facilitating whatever implementation
Okay.
per the master plan.
Beautiful. Okay. That's it. Well,
Just when we're on the master plan.
yeah,
Master plan's a 10-year plan, now we're in year 6, coming up. we're gonna, implementation committee, but when do you think the next process should start?
I mean, I think you should probably start talking about it 2.5, 2 years out.
We still got some
I think it really depends on what's the scope and scale of proposed changes to the plan. I mean, if there aren't many, it could be just an update as opposed to an entirely new plan. As we get closer, I think the board will have to have that conversation. Is it a philosophical change in growth management and land use and zoning? Or is it a massage or a tweak?
Yeah.
Or is it trends continued?
Yeah, well, what I'm kind of hoping to do is that if we can pin down exactly where we are in the current implementation, then we'll have the starting point for that discussion.
Yeah, because I think there's things in there like, we mentioned about needing a fire station. Well, it's
Right.
done now, that's
Yeah.
complete, so that.
Out it goes.
Yeah, if anything, it may get a little smaller in size, but I was thinking more along land use and zoning, the planning board nuts and bolts.
Well, that's it, maybe there's only certain sections that we
Yeah, exactly,
addressed, because
exactly.
We addressed quite a few sections in that
Right.
last plan.
It may not be a total rewrite.
Yeah, so.
Okay, Nan?
Yeah, I was wondering when we conduct the next review, the oversight committee, could we get some of the departments and functions that provided inputs to that plan in terms of assessing needs to come in and report on the impacts of the changes that have been made, the extent to which we're getting the benefits that we expected or not getting the benefits we expected.
Sure, I think that's, when we get to the point where we discuss what's the planning board want to do for a process.
Some of the stakeholders.
Well, I
Yeah,
think a prime example of that would be, Nan, is the study that's going on with the school department, the
Exactly.
needs
Right.
assessment of the facilities.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of something that can be put right into the master
Right.
plan.
Yeah.
It's something that, and I think the master plan for the school part, we didn't address full day kindergarten.
Sure,
That's
sure.
something that, is easily to get, when Superintendent Lyon gets his report, make a presentation before this board, 15, 20 minutes, and I think that's a great input. I think it should be done to this board.
Yeah.
I do too. But I don't think it should wait until 2 years before we start rewriting
Well,
the
I think that
plan.
needs assessment's
I
gonna
think
be-
that because we are midterm
Yeah.
in the plan,
Yeah.
in the duration of the plan.
But when we
that
get
it's
the,
time to get some of those.
when we get the implementation committee up and running,
Yeah.
as Mike said, within the next 2 years, those parties will be providing updates to that committee. So we'll get interim updates.
Yeah, I'm thinking the scheme would be basically, we review what we've got.
Exactly.
We can take 2/3 of it and it's gone, because it's either been done or it's never gonna be done.
But the
But most of
question,
it
Mike,
actually has
is-
been, and then the rest we use as the basis.
Those things that have been done,
Yeah,
did they address the needs?
Yes.
And were they successful in
yeah.
in providing the support systems that we were looking for?
Mm-hmm.
So
In
within.
other words, an assessment
Yeah.
of effectiveness.
Within that committee, that implementation committee, that's
Yeah.
the discussions
Place.
that
Yeah.
need to take place.
Yeah.
What was the level of analysis?
Yeah, because I've been on the implementation committee now for a couple of years, and we really haven't done that
Right.
so far.
It was-
And I think because we're kind of at the
Sure.
midterm point, it's time to start looking at those.
Yep, so like I said, I intend to get those emails out
Okay.
end of the month.
Good, we'll be in good shape there. All right,
Okay, it being, seems to be the time, make a motion to adjourn.
did I hear a second?
You did?
Very good, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.